Welcome to this series of lessons on grammar, punctuation, and writing. This first lesson is on nouns, the largest category of words in any language. It's important to understand nouns because first, we use them in prepositional phrases such as these. The words underlined are all nouns, and as you can see, they are fundamental to the prepositional phrase. Also, any noun can become the subject of a verb, creating a clause. This sentence, for example, has two clauses, each with its subject and its verb. You can see them better if I set them off with brackets and I colored the subjects. One is a noun, one is a pronoun, and the verbs are in green. So we have no way of really understanding prepositional phrases and clauses if we don't understand nouns. Traditionally, we have been told that nouns are the words we use to refer to any persons, places, or things. But that wasn't the whole story because it left out animals. And other nouns are also left out that I'm going to show you. But first, there are three things to keep in mind in identifying nouns. The first is that we don't include the articles a, the, or an as part of the noun. We also don't include any adjectives that may be describing the noun. The third thing to keep in mind is that whenever we have two nouns side by side, the first one actually becomes an adjective. If we say that John is a people person, we mean that he is a sociable individual. And so here, people is describing person. And so this no longer is a noun, it is an adjective. And I have three other examples. We have a California resident. California would normally be a noun, but not here. It is telling us that this person is not an Arizona resident. He is a California resident. And also, there can be three words that would normally be nouns, like $10, ice cream, and cone. But here, $10 is describing what kind of cone this is, rather pricey. And ice cream is also describing cones. So we have two adjectives describing the noun cone. And here, dog and house would normally be nouns, but here, dog is describing house to indicate that this is the house for the pet. And so, now I want to show you that nouns are words that we also use to refer to our emotions as happiness, loneliness, fear, anger, surprise. And we also use nouns to refer to concepts as confusion, quality, liberty, equality, and freedom. And then we have one last group of nouns, which is very special. We call them gerunds. These nouns actually confuse a good number of students because when they see the ing ending, they immediately think the word is a verb. And these words can be used as a verb, are often used as verbs, but when they are, they have helping verbs. So if we say, I am jogging, my mom is planting tomatoes, they are talking about the football game, and my son was fighting earlier today, and the children were sleeping in the living room. And so here, these are verbs, definitely. But when we use the ing words, to refer to activities, then they are not being used as verbs. In this first sentence, for example, it says, my friend is having difficulty sleeping. Now here is an ing word. It has a helping verb, so this is a verb. But sleeping refers to the activity that my friend is having difficulty with, the activity. And so this makes sleeping a noun. And in this second sentence, the activity of jogging helps me relax. And so jogging, again, is by itself, and it's actually the subject noun of the verb helps. Now, the reason why gerunds are special is because they have a characteristic that other nouns do not have, that only verbs and adjectives have. And I'd like to explain that to you, beginning with this sentence. This sentence says, the judge considered arguments from the defense and prosecuting attorneys. This sentence has three nouns, judge, arguments, and attorneys. Prosecuting is actually is an adjective. But I want to focus on these two words. This is what the judge did. The judge considered. And what the judge considered were arguments. And so we say that arguments is the object of the verb considered. Okay? And so this is a very standard kind of thing. Now, if we were to shorten this sentence by using a gerund, we could say, after considering arguments from the defense and prosecuting attorneys, the judge rendered her ruling. This sentence basically says the same thing, but we have changed the verb and the object for a gerund and the object. Now, why is this significant? This is significant because it's an exception to the rule that I've been mentioning about having two nouns together and the first one being an adjective. Here are two nouns, and so this one is not an adjective. It is a gerund, because considering is not describing arguments. It's not describing arguments. Like prosecuting is describing attorneys. These are not divorce attorneys. These are prosecuting attorneys. So here, the ing word is an adjective, and this is the noun. But here we have a gerund and its object. Arguments is the object of the gerund. And so we have two nouns side by side, and the first one is not an adjective. It is a noun. And that's what makes gerunds special, that they can have objects just like verbs, Other nouns cannot do this. In this sentence is like this, an example like this, because I need to buy some shoes, and I don't need to buy walking shoes or dress-up shoes. I need to buy running shoes. So here, running, an ing word, is not a gerund. It is describing shoes, and so we have it as an adjective, okay? Which tells you that ing words can be used as main verbs, they can be used as gerunds, ING-NOUNS, and they can also be used as adjectives. All right, so I want to tell you now one more thing about nouns, and that is that some of the word endings can tell us that the word is actually a noun. For example, any word that ends in ty, like quality, specialty, charity, Christianity, activity, those words are nouns. And words that end in ness, darkness, laziness, happiness, tardiness, carelessness, are also noun, as well as words that end in tion, imagination, education, instruction, deduction, seduction. Also, words that end in ship, friendship, relationship, workmanship, leadership, scholarship, are also noun, as well as words that end in ment, announcement, argument, retirement, amendment, commandment. And we also have the same rule that when one of these words is next to another noun, then that word becomes an adjective. Here, it's telling us what kind of ring this is. It's not an engagement ring, it's a friendship ring. And if we say that I'm going to a leadership training, then leadership becomes an adjective because it's describing what kind of training I'm going to be going to. And also, if we have a retirement home, retirement is an adjective describing home. To sum up then, I want to emphasize that nouns are not just the words we use to refer to persons, places, things, and animals. Nouns are also the words we use to refer to emotions, concepts, and activities that we discuss when we write or when we talk to people. And also, nouns are essential in our use of prepositional phrases and clauses. What you will see in the next video will be groups of students competing to identify the nouns in a composition I wrote in which I try to explain why I'm videotaping lessons and lectures. Thank you.